Now back to politics. The so-called alt-right is drawing reactions from the racially divisive beliefs some of its members are publicly embracing. Here's how the movement's leader, Richard Spencer, described the crux of his mission in an interview with NewsOne host Roland Martin.
I think that white people, Europeans, formed the core of American identity.
So why don't you go back to Europe? You keep saying Europeans.
I just said being a European isn't just a plot of land. Being a European is about blood and spirit. These people formed the core of American identity. What it means to be American is ultimately what it means to be a white person here.
How so? Because
we
are
essential.
Because the reality is here. Dr. King talked about,
and I want to maintain that.
Well, let's talk about it. Joining me now, NewsOne Now host and managing editor Roland Martin. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't even know where to start. I already told you I'm frankly shaken by the interview, so I'll just let you have it. What surprised you most with Richard Spencer? I started taking notes, and then frankly, I had to stop. It made my heart hurt.
Nothing.
Nothing surprised you?
Me, but no, absolutely not. Because in 2009, when I was at CNN, John Avlon, now the Daily Beast, we had a conversation. And I said then, John, I said, we're about to be in the stages of what I call white minority resentment and resistance. And we're seeing that. This guy, Richard Spencer, is overt versus covert. And I think what we've done is we in media have not understood the nuance. So this guy, he's out there, he's saying crazy stuff. We have to understand, what about the folks who actually think that, but who don't say it?
But so that's why it makes me nervous. I asked you, I said, how many men were in that room? I mean, they're clapping. I can't see their faces. So I feel like when I'm walking down the street, what if I'm walking right past them with my kids?
But that's the piece that I think that we have to come to grips with. That is, listen to what he said when he talked about, well, we're not getting our fair share of jobs and we're being discriminated against in Silicon Valley and other areas. Then I began to point out, but wait a minute, what about what's happening on Capitol Hill and happening in Fortune 500 companies? But here's what's interesting. In June, this is a story from Salon. In June, AP NORC, University of Chicago, did a poll. 62% of blacks say they thought America's best days were ahead. Only 40% of whites thought so. Even though the median income for whites is $71,300, for blacks is $43,300, what you have is this view that somehow America is no longer going to be, frankly, a white cultured nation. And we have to come to grips with that. The changing demographic is also impacting this. There is this fear that white children are not going to have the same America their parents had. And so what Richard Spencer does, he articulates it, and then people go, oh, that's the alt-right, which is really white nationalists, white supremacists. Oh, those guys don't exist. But you have to go beneath that. Thomas Edsel had a phenomenal piece in the New York Times this week talking about this very same thing that we heard after the Reagan Revolution in 1984. These feelings have been here, especially among the white working class. We simply haven't been paying attention. Trust me, I have. And this is here to stay as we become more a nation where no one group is the majority in this country.
Obviously, economic concerns play a huge part in this movement. And what did you think about how he perceived job-related discrimination? I'll let you explain for people who haven't seen the interview.
Same thing. Same thing. And that is, there's this view that was a study done last year, where white millennials said that racism against whites is equally as bad as African Americans. And see, so we say, oh, no, this generation is different. I'm telling you, what you're saying is you have this particular view that is existing in America that, oh, my goodness, this is impacting us. They're seeing this rise when it comes to Latinos and African Americans, and, oh, my God, my worldview is changing. Again, we got to break down. When black people hear, make America great again, and whites hear, make America great again, what does that mean? When you hear, take our country back, well, what do you mean take our country back?
Black folks think it means take it. Yeah, go ahead.
See, it's a totally different view, and I think what we've done is we've let people off the hook. I've listened to these conversations and read these stories, and people say, well, the economic angst of the white working class. Well, wait a minute. I just told you the median income of African Americans is $43,000. It will take African Americans 228 years to catch up with white America when it comes to wealth. 228 years.
Let me play a quick clip, and then let me get your take. You talked with him about the recent attention that has been given to this. They call it a movement, but let me let you listen.
I do think that the alt-right, we've gone from being a movement that was not connected to the political mainstream, not connected to the political fray. We now are. People are paying attention to us. People are looking at us. We need to think of ourselves as a mainstream movement that's going to reach people, because we do have that power.
I have 20 seconds. What's our takeaway?
White fear is real in terms of this changing America, and we in media had better wake up and stop playing this game and realize it exists, and not just with the white working class. Look at those numbers, the views of also whites with college degrees. I'm telling you, this is not anything to play around with, because America is changing, and some folks can't handle that changing America.
It's definitely not anything to play around with when we all have children. Roland Martin, thank you for talking with me.